Welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. This is your boy ALW. We are here for Saturday night as all right. We are watching AEW Collision. I think that Rampage, if I'm not mistaken, got moved from last night to tonight. I don't know if we will stay for Rampage or not. As of now, we're here for Collision. We'll have to see. I don't know if we're going to do Rampage or not. But coming down to the ring on Collision right now is Top Flight. Opening up the show. I think I should be joined here by CM shortly. She was supposed to be coming, so hopefully she'll be joining us shortly. In the meantime, you get your boy ALW Solo Dolo. Sorry for that. I know you guys love hearing me rant all alone, talk all alone, drone on. Needless to say, at least I'm here. So, hey Hassan, thanks for joining us as always. And yeah, I'm ready for Mother's Day tomorrow. My wife, we're gonna barbecue. The kid that we don't live with is gonna come over, and so we're gonna have a little family barbecue for my wife, their mother. So, how about you, CM? Are you doing anything special for Mother's Day?
I have no idea.
Well, hopefully they have something planned for you.
I just was told to be ready to be somewhere. So,
yeah, there you go.
That's all I do. So
there you go. No Anika today, Hassan. She has to work today, so
she got to work.
Me and CM.
That's what she tells us.
That's what she tells us. That's right.
I think she's over there getting info for Kendrick.
So they were only on for 2 hours last night. Is that because Rampage is actually on tonight after Collision? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Hassan asked if we were doing both. I told him I didn't think so. I think we're just going to do Collision probably.
Hassan, you are a wonderful human. Thank you for joining us. I personally can only do Collision, and even that's pushing it. So.
Yep. No, I think the plan is just do Collision.
So did you catch the Bryan Danielson interview where he was talking about like the young talent and just like how they kind of reinvigorated him and like gave praise to the older? Yes, he gave praise to the new kids. It was really good.
Hassan says, "Well, thank you, CM. You guys are awesome." So, no, who was the interview with?
I don't even remember the guy. I think it was an AEW interview, but it wasn't Tony Schiavone. That's
okay. Nah, I didn't see that.
It was really nice to see a veteran putting over younger guys. But I did want to get your opinion on something he said.
All right.
He said the best Canadian wrestler was not Bret Hart, but Kenny Omega. Do you agree?
I think it's really hard to compare generational wrestlers like that. I would have been interested to see what kind of a wrestler Kenny Omega would have been in that time, and be very interested to see what kind of wrestler Bret Hart would be in his prime now, or in his prime over the last 15 or 20 years. If Bret Hart, as good as he was in the 80s and early 90s when wrestling was very limited as to what you did in the ring, but he was so good at it and pushed himself, I think he could be. I think Bret Hart had the ability to be maybe a Will Ospreay, a Kenny Omega, a Bryan Danielson in this generation if he was wrestling. I think he could potentially be that good. As well as I think Bryan Danielson could have been a Bret Hart back in that time. So but right now, no. Right now, if you took Bret Hart from then and put him against Kenny Omega 5 years ago or even today, I think Kenny Omega beats him. I mean, he's so much. His offense is so much more expanded and developed. He's got so many more tools at his disposal than Bret Hart had at the time. And so I just think that it's just two different kinds of wrestling for me. And the new style of wrestling that Kenny Omega's maybe, I mean, it's arguably him and Will Ospreay and Danielson, 1, 2, 3, however you want to put them, at best in the world. And there's arguments for other people, I'm sure. But, so I mean, yeah, that's tough. I'd love to see that match, the two of them in their prime. I think Omega would probably win just because I think his style is a little bit faster paced and a little bit more. But I do think both of them could have wrestled in each other's generations and been really good. What do you think?
I have always put Bret Hart at second best for the best Canadian wrestler. I have always firmly believed Owen Hart was better than his brother. So for me, it's Owen versus Kenny.
Sure.
And I think they would be tied for first place.
And that's even tougher. That's even tougher because Owen Hart's body of work is so much less than even his brother, let alone than Kenny Omega. So it makes it even so much harder. I mean, just longevity-wise, there's so much in Kenny's favor, but
also he could cut a promo. He could work the crowd. He could do a lot of things that these new wrestlers have to learn to do. And he was very charismatic with it. Even in the 90s where, wrestling was,
Yeah. No, I mean, so, I think Owen Hart was a little ahead of his time. I think he suffered from being Bret Hart's brother because I think he was in Bret's shadow and ultimately didn't really have enough time on this planet and in wrestling to really kind of come out of that shadow because his brother was still basically kind of at the top of his game to a certain extent, or just kind of on the downside of his career when Owen was, becoming whatever. So I do think there was that issue. For me, I mean, the only reason I don't have Owen Hart higher on my list of like best ever is just because I just feel like he had so little time. Ultimately, there's so very little to actually look at as far as his at least that you can see. I'm sure he had a lot more, in Canada that we don't see or that I haven't seen, but just his time in WWE. Just speaking on that, it was so short that it's hard to, I don't know. But I mean, I do think I see that's a tough debate because Bret was so talented that to say that Owen was better. I mean, even that I think is a tough debate. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's a good debate. I think there's room for debate there.
Bret has said it himself. Owen is better.
Yeah. As well a good brother should. As well as a good brother should. I mean, if my brother was wrestling, I was wrestler, I'd say he's better than I am too. Even though whether I think that or not, I would say that. You know what I mean? That's what you should do.
The Usos saying it.
Well, that's true, but
you didn't hear Rosie saying that about Roman. Say.
Well, that family's a little different.
Dwayne don't say that about his brother, so
No, I mean, I don't. I think Bret Hart was really good. I don't know that he was even the best of his generation. I think that's debatable. It depends on what your criteria you're using to determine best. He was probably the best technical wrestler in that time when nobody was really doing technical wrestling. But even then, his stuff was even so limited just because the WWE didn't like that at the time. They didn't like that style of wrestling. So, or people just weren't doing it. I mean, they hadn't learned it yet. They hadn't developed it yet. I don't know, but
even more. F you, Vince.
Right?
Not in a good, happy way.
Right. No, but that's fun. Those are fun questions. The generational. Let me get that out right. Are even more interesting just because it's so hard because the wrestling has become so different. Unfortunately, other than in video games, we'll never get to see that stuff. So at this point, I mean, there are still some legends out there that are still working. I mean, the idea that in theory we could get either Rock and Cody, although I'm not a Cody fan, but then we get to see The Rock in another match at some point because I am a Rock fan. And it looks like physical fitness-wise, it looks like he can still go. We'll see if he can or not at some point. Can he actually still wrestle? Not that he was ever the greatest in-ring worker to begin with, but we'll see if he can still go physically. But I mean, just to get to see some of these guys still do it, so that's fun. But I mean, we're never going to get to see a Bryan Danielson or Kenny Omega versus Bret Hart, right? We're not going to get to see that. So, unfortunately,
Not in real life.
not in real life. We can definitely do it on a video game, which would be fun. Or I mean, someone might be able to even do it, somehow in AI or I don't know, whatever, some sort of simulation program. But that's beyond my comprehension. I mean, I could do it on my WWE 2K, but so Danielson and Claudio versus Top Flight.
It is a really good match.
It is.
Top Flight is better.
I would say I'm very surprised that Top Flight is holding their own as long as they have and as much as they have. Video playback.
They are a really talented tag team.
I agree. The BCC is like, Tony treats them as like maybe the premier tag team, one of the premier tag teams in AEW, and he doesn't treat Top Flight like that. So, as a general rule,
you also have to realize, well, that is so much better. Claudio and Danielson are wrestlers for the most part. Yeah, they're gonna do what sets up the business for the long term.
Right. No, I mean, I like it. It just surprised. I mean, I don't have a problem with it at all. It just doesn't feel like they booked them to be that, but it's good for them. I mean, here's the booking. They booked them in a match with the BCC and they're giving them a solid match. So,
ooh.
I mean, if Top Flight gets a win here somehow, I mean, that's a big win to elevate them in the tag team division. And they need it because they've been toiling on Rampage and doing they're not on Rampage or Collision. I mean,
the injuries and stuff have played a role too. It's just been a lot.
Oh yeah, a huge role. Yeah, I mean they can't seem to both stay healthy at the same time. This feels like the longest they've both been healthy at the same time since they've been in AEW.
Don't jinx it.
Right?
It's like
Dante up top, Claudio in the middle.
Except for the books, the brother tag teams in AEW have not fared well against injuries. I just want that to be noted.
That is very true. This is very true. I know there's been some talk in the internet wrestling community about AEW wrestlers seeming to be injured more often than they should be. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but I heard a little bit of that, and I don't know if that's a commentary on Tony Khan's training staff or what he's got going on. I don't know what all that means, but
I think I've noticed it, but I've also noticed that a lot of these guys have worked in the indies for years.
Yeah, they're old. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. They're old as far as wrestling years. They've been around for a long time. AEW has an old roster when it really boils down to it.
Not just that, but also like injuries accumulate over time, and they may not have had the opportunity to go get something checked out or handled.
No doubt.
And then when you get more money, you can have it checked out or handled. Yeah. I also noticed that the internet wrestling community loves to shit on AEW because folks are praising Logan Paul versus Cody. And when AEW fans are like, well, what's the story behind it? Well, why do you need a story?
Right.
But when it's like someone said, why is Danielson and Kingston on Team AEW? It's like, because they have beef with these guys in the Elite. That's why. Oh, well, I didn't know that. If you watched, you would know.
Yeah. Well, the internet's a great place for people that have no idea what they're talking about to talk like they're experts. So, which is why I always take everything with a grain of salt, unless it's from what I consider a very reliable source, and even them are fewer and far between than they used to be. uh, I just assume it's probably not real or not true.
I have found it funny this past week. The whole thing with Sean. Ooh, that was ugly, but that was
Oh,
pretty. The whole thing with Sean Ross Sapp, and like, if you're really gonna apologize, send me some fine French cheeses, and he gets the French cheese, and neckbeards have a meltdown.
I don't actually. When I very first came to YouTube and the wrestling podcast, I started with
Ooh,
some Fightful shows. Sean Ross Sapp, It's Your Boy with Sean Ross Sapp and the other guy that he does it with most of the time. Um, and mostly Wrestle Talk though. I like Sean Ross Sapp. I have no problem with him. I just now I don't listen to him at all. But I don't listen to Wrestle Talk anymore either. I hardly listen to True Heel Heat anymore. Now that we do this, honestly, this is enough. Doing this is enough. I mean, I do listen to some other stuff, but not all that often. I mean, not as much as I was before.
I watch Wrestle Talk and Cultaholic for wrestling, but I used to be a Quizlemania person, so
Oh yeah,
that's how I
oh
knew
yeah.
Sean and
I watch
seeing
a lot of Quizlemania.
him being on him just being on the internet. Like I
Yeah,
as long as he's on Twitter and he don't bother me, cool. Like I don't have to have I don't have to agree with everybody's opinion. Daniels, are you at the end?
yeah. Danielson's talking now. I got my volumes down so it doesn't. We don't get a copyright issue. But so I have no idea what he's saying.
Danielson versus Claudio. Danielson and Claudio win, of course. Um, but yeah, I'm just yeah. I just am personally the type of person. If I see a Dave Meltzer thing that I agree with, I retweet it. But I just personally find it hilarious how much stock people in wrestling give Dave Meltzer, and then they're mad that Dave Meltzer has that much stock, and it's like make believe. If you don't
Well, it's one of
believe it,
those
you
weird
don't
things,
watch
right?
it.
It's like me and my dad were talking, right? And my dad said to me, and I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was a little offended. I mean, not offended, but whatever, it is what it is. He said for him personally, if he's going to listen to someone talk about something, it's going to be someone that's an insider or an expert, either done it or actually is like a journalist that's insider with the team. He's talking more about sports because he doesn't watch wrestling. And I
Mhm.
tried to explain to them that they don't have that in wrestling. It's different than that. They don't. Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer are about the closest you're really ever going to get to wrestling journalists or insider journalists. I mean, and the best they do is have a couple sources in WWE or multiple that tell them what they think is going on. I mean, they're not out following WWE on the road every day, like a beat journalist would do that follows, maybe the Warriors or the Lakers or whatever, or it's different than that. And because it's pre-scripted, they don't really have people in the back like that are just, it's a different kind of environment. So, I mean, the reality is that take it or leave it, Dave Meltzer is the longest running, foremost insider in the internet or in the wrestling community, way before the internet. I mean, Pro Wrestling Observer has been coming out way before the internet came out. So way before the internet was invented. And he's been doing it forever for 40 years now, 45 years or however long it's been. Um, so I mean, I'm not a Dave Meltzer fan myself. I mean, I think his opinions are valid because he knows what he's talking about. I just don't like him. There's something about him I don't like. But it is what it is. But you know me, I don't like anybody. So um, it takes a small circle of people actually enjoy it. It gets smaller and smaller because all it does is take one thing to irritate me, and then I'm kind of turned off. So um, but I don't. I mean, he knows for the most part what he's talking about, and I think, like I said, when it comes to insiders, those for me, as best I know, those are really the two biggest. I mean, there are some other ones, but those are the ones that seem to break the most wrestling news. Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp, as far as unknown, breaking of news stories when it comes to wrestling. So, I mean, I appreciate what they direct. I respect obviously what they do as someone that's somewhat in that field, in that industry or that niche. But yeah, I mean, I don't listen to either of them regularly at all. I do read Wrestling Observer for. Okay, let me rephrase that. I read FightfulSelect.com. I go there and I read the news articles. I go to WrestleTalk.com. I read the news articles. I go to Wrestling Observer and read some of the news articles. Sometimes after one or two, they're all the same. So I mean, I only usually go through one or two, but I do read Wrestling Observer. I just don't listen to Dave talk. I mean, I'm not a big. I don't listen to it. But yeah, I mean, he's polarizing. People either love him or hate him.
Well, first off, with this in-ring promo, Danielson says that he loves AEW. That's why he's coming back to fight at Anarchy in the Arena. He puts over AEW. He puts over Top Flight. He puts over Claudio. Puts over Tony Khan. Claudio, interestingly enough, leaves the ring as Danielson is cutting this promo. So that's interesting. Speaking of allegedly, Willer Yuta is in concussion protocol and they don't have a set timeline for him to come back. So get well soon. Willer Yuta, I miss you. If no one else misses you, I miss you because you are a funny little motherfucker. Like you're the type of asshole I like. Me personally,
Collision packed. They were just showing the card for the remainder of this Collision show. We're about to get Osprey versus.
Well, it's Collision and Rampage, I think.
Okay. Well, I know it's both, but I thought it was just Collision card, but maybe it was both.
I think the last time they did that, it was all of it together. So I think that's what's happening. I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm gonna say it like this. As someone who follows gossip and stuff like that, it is what it is. Like, it's wrestling. It's whatever. I'm not gonna stress myself out about it. I just, if it's someone else's opinion, okay, cool. That's someone else's opinion. I don't really care. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying. But then again, I don't really care about most people's opinions. If I did, I probably wouldn't be a wrestling fan. Just because there's a whole lot of men who hate the fact that there are women fans, especially Black women fans. They cannot stand it. And I personally get a lot of pleasure out of being like, I know more than you do. Let me show you. Let me tell you what about like your favorite. That's not true. 2 years later, hey, it's me. Did you see the news? I was writing you wrong. Let me post it for you. Well, yeah, it is what it is.
I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with some people that do what we do. Reason don't believe their opinion is an opinion, that it's fact, and then they bully you with their opinion because they believe their opinion is the only right opinion. And that irritates the fuck out of me. I don't care if you watch 100 more hours of wrestling a week than me. I don't care if you're twice my age and been watching wrestling 4 times longer than I have. I know that math doesn't work out. I don't give a fuck. Your opinion is still just your fucking opinion. It doesn't make it a fact. You're not working with WWE or AEW. You're not fucking booking the shows. Your opinion is an opinion just like mine is. So I hate opinion bullies. If it's a factual thing where you can come on and say, whatever, and it's an actual thing with empirical evidence, it's factual, where you can prove it, then that's totally different. This is a wrestling opinion. Shut the fuck up.
Most times something is a fact, it is because I know that it's a fact, or I know someone who is reputable enough to know it's a fact. But I also live in a wrestling area, so it's also very easy to get information. Mother's Day parade? What's the Mother's Day parade? Like, do the moms get on a float and throw out candy? Hassan said he's doing church services online, and then there's a Mother's Day parade. So
yeah, interesting.
How does that work? Like, do they have their float and they give out, like, do they have grandma candy?
He says yes. He just says yes. So Apparently, what you're saying is
Come
correct.
on. Wherever you're at, do y'all have grandma candy? Like the mysterious strawberry wrap candy that just appears and no one knows where it comes from? And like the multicolored peppermint that you can never seem to find, but grandmas always have. And those butterscotch candies that most of us don't eat, but the weird favorite, like super favorite grandkids love, and the grandmas just like give you that butterscotch and like $5-10. Like, how like do y'all have that, or is that like not a thing?
Will Ospreay is in the ring. Anytime I get to see Will Ospreay wrestle, I'm happy. Oh, that's right. Lee Moriarty. This should be a really good match.
Oh wait, yeah, that's wrong. That's happening at pay-per-view.
What is?
I don't know how to spell Moriarty.
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 Yep. It should be a fun match.
I always wonder. Oh, that's cool. Like, okay.
Yep.
So
They throw candy. Interesting.
do y'all have that too?
Like, I've never been to a Mother's Day parade. I've never heard of one. No.
No, the grandma candy.
Well, I mean, my grandma didn't carry candy, but I know grandmas that do.
Okay.
I mean, I know that that's, grandmas usually have candy or something like that, especially butterscotch. My grandmas were both dead before I was. Well, one of them lived till I was. One died when I was like 12. The other died when I was like 17. So, but yes, I neither of them carried candy like that.
Before, like from birth to like 12, 17 is a long ass time. I just want to let you know that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like I lived with them or saw them all the time. One of them lived across the country, so I only saw them once a year, and the other one lived close. But my dad and her, he would see her more than I would go see her. Like together, he would see her a lot alone and that kind of stuff. So it wasn't like, and she was the one that died. The one that was closer was the one that died when I was younger. So, she had a bowl of candy like in the house, but she didn't have it in her pockets. Like, and the other one did. I don't remember the other one eating candy like that. So. The one that lived in Florida, I don't remember eating candy like that. Now, my grandfather always had some sort of gum or candy or some sort of sucker in his pocket, usually like those little peppermint candies and the little, clear wrapper. Yeah, he always had something like that, but not her. But no, I am aware. I mean, I know plenty of grandmas over the years, friends, grandmas, and stuff that have had candy, and that's definitely a stereotype that comes from truth.
I mean, I wonder because like I know most Southern grandmas do, but it's always interesting to find out from different parts of the world,
Right?
if they have those things.
Ooh, Will tried to kick Lee's head off, and Lee got out of the way real quick. Just barely missed.
One of my grandmothers is still alive, and my grandma, who was my next door neighbor, passed my senior year of college. Well, my senior semester. Well, the summer of my senior semester. Yeah, the summer of my senior semester.
So you got a fair amount of time with her, at least. I mean,
yeah, I had my great grandma.
If she lived next door, probably a lot of time.
I grew up with my great grandma up until shortly before my grandmother passed away.
Oh, okay.
My great grandfather was like a year before that. Then one of my great grandmas passed when I was 5. So I had like 3 great grandparents. No, right. But 3.5 because I had a step great grandparent. Yeah.
Yep, I never had any whatchamacallit.
Well, my great granddaddy said the way that he lives is drinking smoking and chasing women. So
Yep.
see longevity. He lived to like 90, 100 or so.
Yeah, I mean George Burns, who lived to what 103, was convinced that he lived because he smoked cigars every day. So obviously that's not true. It's not true, but
Well,
at the same time, I mean, lead with your mind and the body will follow, right? So I mean, I guess some believe that, then okay.
I live long and prosper.
All right.
I don't think my family is going to cook out tomorrow. To be quite honest, I think we're doing other things. So
We are going to barbecue ribs tomorrow night.
y'all have fun with it.
I'm not. The son-in-law barbecues ribs. I'll let him do that stuff.
I mean, I can barbecue ribs. I can grill things. I could
I
probably
can. I just
I could probably do like actual barbecue. I don't eat it, so I don't. If you want some barbecue like deer or something, I got you. Or if you want like barbecue style jackfruit, I got you.
I was just gonna say. I was just say my old boss, the last lawyer I worked for, him and his wife were vegan, but he used to barbecue jackfruit all the time.
I made some fried jackfruit the other day. It did not
I
last.
mean, he raved. I mean, he raved about it. I mean, he
It,
recommended it.
it did
I've
not.
personally never had it, but
Oh, honey, you missing out on the good stuff like like barbecue jackfruit and like seafood style heart of palm. Heaven. Two things that don't last in my house very long.
yeah, no, I mean, he raved about it. And at some point, I'll probably try some somewhere. I just
Yeah, change some of those eating habits, man.
right. Foodie holding his own here so far with Will is as best you can with the best in the world. I mean,
Is he the best in the world?
but I mean, like I said, that's a debate. I mean, but I think a lot of people would have Will Ospreay at the top of that list somewhere. I mean,
I cannot think of a wrestler in his generation that is better. And the fact he just turned 31.
right?
I
Yeah,
think
I
that
mean,
they have the potential to be better, but they haven't developed yet.
yeah, I would agree with that. And for me, like at this point in time, I'm gauging it by like I can't remember the last time the dude had even just a decent match, let alone a bad match. Like never. Even with guys like Lee Moriarty, and don't get me wrong, Lee Moriarty's a good wrestler, but he's at this point he's been booked and presented as basically mid card talent, and Ospreay's obviously super uber main event talent. So like there should be a clear differential between here. But even in this situation, he just has good matches always, always, always. I don't.
And
I'm never in a bad Will Ospreay match. I mean, and so many of them are the best match of the night when he's on the card. So many of them are the match of the year candidates, depending on who the match is with. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to argue against it. I mean, there are a couple guys that you could probably, you know, debate about, but I think it's pretty clear, in my opinion, that he's the best in the world at the moment.
I will say that AEW's younger talent has gotten better recently to me. And I think it is because they've been given more opportunities to wrestle longer matches and build more characters.
Yeah, I mean, they. Oh, first of all, hold on, Dolores is here. What's up, D? I hope you're doing okay.
You better be resting.
We miss you too. Um, I some people say, and Jimmy McRam is one of the people because I listen to AEW Ramble. That's one of the shows I listen to every week because I like Jimmy McRam. But he's very hard on AEW, and I I don't think it's as bad as he presents it to be. And I think that an indication of that is the fact that they're still getting and bringing in young free agent talent and the best in the world, i.e. Will Ospreay. I mean, now don't get me wrong, Okada's not a young talent anymore, but he, for all intents and purposes, in many respects, they still consider him a premier main event guy, and they brought both those guys in recently. So, I mean, are the ratings down a little bit? Sure, they probably are, but and in comparison to WWS, yes, or WWE, yes, but that's just because WWE's been around for so much longer that they have so many more devoted fans. I mean, if and when AEW is lucky to last, 20, 30, 40, 50 years like WWE is, we'll see what those numbers look like then. I mean, as long as they dominate their time slot, it doesn't matter. They don't have to compare themselves to WWE or to sports like basketball. All they have to do is dominate their time slot and the channel they're on and the demographic that the channel is looking for, and they'll continue to do well. I mean, I don't, and obviously the environment's somewhat decent because, like I said, they keep bringing in good main event star talent. I mean, these guys wouldn't come here if it was a bad situation. I wouldn't think. I mean,
so I'm gonna pause you there, Dolores. Yes, you can. You can. It is just reminding yourself that this is an opportunity to rest and recharge. It is hard, but yes, you can. So just letting you know. And two, my thing is, a lot of people like to compare WWE to AEW. I don't think Tony Khan's going to do what Vince McMahon did in order to make WWE the top. I don't think that he is willing to hurt his wrestlers. I don't think he is willing to monopolize an industry and drive out all other options. And I also don't think, and I think this is what makes Eric Bischoff the maddest, I don't think that he is willing to let Eric Bischoff and Terry Bollea come in and fuck up his company.
Yeah.
Because people on the internet love to talk about Eric Bischoff, but Eric Bischoff fucked up her companies 2 times. WCW and TNA. A lot of people love to forget TNA, but he was the reason TNA made that stupid move.
Yeah, I've never been an Eric Bischoff fan. In fact, I actively hated him back in the day when he was on WCW. I actively hated him. And TNA, not much better. I mean, yeah. No, I mean, comparing Tony Khan and Vince McMahon, first of all, is apples and oranges. One's at least a somewhat decent human being, and the other is not. And the way that they do business is night and day. And AEW is a totally different kind of company than WWE. I mean,
I will say, I was one of the people who was like, ooh, Tony, that Weinstein comment did not go well. And then I remembered WWE is also in that lawsuit. So
yeah. No, I mean, the reality is Tony Khan shouldn't probably be taking shots at WWE. It doesn't do anybody any good. At the same time, he's human. We're all human. And in the moment we get all, in the moment
if WWE can take shots at AEW can take shots back. I am so very tired of, well, it didn't happen on TV. No, but it happened in the media. So AEW put it back in the media. If you want to take shots, take them.
Which is fine. I mean, you could choose to do whatever you want to do. I would hope that more often than not, and I think it would
pop shit back.
Serve him better to take the high road. At the same time, I don't ever have any problem with anyone taking the low road. I mean, if you want to get down in the dirt, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. At the same time, everyone should strive to take the high road. I understand people that don't, and when you don't, it's fine. But you should strive, in theory, to take the high road.
Oh, a few weeks ago, you was over here talking about throwing bows.
I am, like I said. I said.
No.
You can only turn the other cheek so much. You can only walk away so much. I mean, and I'm not a walk away type of person, but
I'm gonna just be 100 with it. if I have a family and I come to you and say, hey, I will work with your organization if you can give me XYZ. And your response is no. And we part on amicable terms. Cool. No problems. We're not gonna talk about it. I wish that I had different offers. Da, 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 da. Cool. But if we leave it on those terms, and then you come out in a scrum and say, oh, well, if you're young in your career and you don't want to do the grind, as if Will Ospreay hasn't been around consistently for 12 years, as if he's not made it very plain. I have a wife, I have a child. She's just beginning her career. I don't want to uproot them. She just lost her other husband a few years ago. She needs this, like her core base. I'm not willing to uproot them, and I need a schedule that will allow for that flexibility. And you over here talking about, as like the head honcho, talking about, oh, if you're not willing to grind, you lazy. We don't want you here.
I agree. I mean, I'm not saying.
Yeah, we wouldn't talk about
I'm terrible at family. I'm terrible at taking the high road. It's one of those things that's easy to say and hard to do, right? I'm terrible at taking the high road. I'm almost never the one that takes the high road. But I'm saying we should all strive. I in my mind, I think I should, but I never do. I mean, I very rarely do I take the high road. But in theory, we should try to want to take the high road. We should want to be bigger than that. But most of us aren't. I mean, that's the reality of the situation when it comes down to it. And the reality is there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself or defending yourself, advocating yourself, or whatever when it comes down to it. I mean, I'm all for that too. I'm just saying, in theory. We got Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony.
Look, and you wanna pop shit, you wanna pop shit. But don't be mad when my popping shit make your feathers get hurt.
Right?
Rivers.
I totally missed who they're wrestling. Clearly, people that I'm unaware of. They must be jobbers. Two of them look the same. Oh, okay.
They're twins.
I was gonna say 2 of them look the same. That's why they look the same, because they're twins.
Sorry, folks, if my moving around is distracting you. I apologize. I'm just trying to get comfortable.
Is okay. The Gates of Agony are holding
the little pilgrim. Oh,
Rivers. Oh, threw him into Brian Cage. Powerbomb 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, that was a squash match.
Yeah, Evan Rivers is very, very pale, and he got paler as Brian Cage picked him up and threw him. Also, folks, apologies for not putting out the Impact reviews. I'll be real with y'all. Impact has kind of become very boring without Scott D'Amore. It's also the time of year that Impact goes through the pay-per-view challenge, where they have so many pay-per-views in like a week to build everything. It's not entertaining. But I will get those out to you guys. It'll be about 4 minutes, because I'm just gonna pick one good thing from the past 2 weeks and talk about that. That's the only thing keeping me around right now. I've been watching them and I've tried, but yeah, they really haven't been highlighting the talent, with the exception of Joe Hendry and like Jonathan Gresham. They really haven't been highlighting the talent that they should. Also, shout out to Joe Hendry for briefly beating Taylor Swift in the charts. Tony, why are you in that ring? Get out of the ring, Tony. I hope he gets really good compensation for this.
Right?
They always make him do the interviews that Renee doesn't want to.
Right.
Okay. So he's talking about why. And Cage is cutting a promo. I like beef.
Here comes Swerve.
I like beef.
Brian Cage wants a shot at Swerve Strickland. I mean, not that everybody doesn't. He's AEW champion, but
Oh, so they got rid of him.
oh shit! Oh shit! Swerve had them looking the other way, and he took a chain and yanked one of the.
Hey! I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Okay, sorry.
Also, shout out to Persona because Persona said, "I am not fucking up the bag for you people."
Oh.
Oh, they are aligned with the elite.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, are they? They're still a can't. Oh, well, yeah, because he was in Vancouver, and if they're right there, then yeah, that makes sense.
Swerve with the not the drive by. What would you call it? The swerve kick? Maybe it is a drive by. I don't know.
Yeah, I really think they
Cage.
forgot how vicious Swerve can be.
Right?
I don't like him. In fact, I think he's a jackass. But
That's
is
the funny thing about him. Like people cheer him right now. He's one of those heels that people are cheering. I mean, he's definitely a heel, but they cheer him.
But he's a cool heel.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for some of the stances that he took loudly and proudly and ignorantly, I probably would like him better. It's called the house fall.
That's right. Okay.
Man. But then I remember where he's from, so yeah.
Oh. Yeah, he's got Bishop Khan all tied up with the chain and the ropes. But
in wrestling is one of those things that could be taken so many different ways.
this can't be real, right, Hassan? You didn't really think the Jobber Boro twins.
Hassan. You stand strong, Hassan. You stand for the
people. Oh, that's funny.
Hopefully you get some of the grandma candy tomorrow. Shit.
So coming all the way around. Oh, what happened there? Swerve got out of the way and pushed. Oh shit! He hit him with the cinder block. Wait till you see that. Yep, swerving the cinder block on Keith Lee. Now he's gonna use it on Toa Leona.
Keith Lee.
Oh shit! Swerve's got a chair. He's got Toa's head on the steel steps. He's going to hit Toa's head with the chair on the steel steps.
I know.
He's looking at Brian Cage.
I'm still down.
All right, Brian Cage is not coming to help him. If I was Toa, I'd be hyped.
Like, damn. Y'all are good.
You just,
y'all ain't got
he did it. That's your boy, Brian. You just let him get all, for lack of a better thing to call it, concertoed. I know it's not because there wasn't a chair underneath him, but the same concept on the steel chair, on the steel steps. And he didn't do anything. He just stood there and watched.
Maybe concerto.
There you go.
Because there's some concrete in the chair.
There you go. So Swerve standing tall in the ring with the chair.
Now, Brian Cage, you know you could have come down there and taken that man knee out.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so hey, y'all need to be by yourselves and not be henshin to people because they just don't get it all up.
I like Brian Cage. I'm here for Brian Cage and Swerve, a little feud, a match or two. I think Brian Cage is a solid competitor and solid contender. I mean, he's not going to win. I don't want him to beat Swerve. I don't want him to be champion. But he can give Swerve a good match and give him, a decent victory during his reign. We are at Collision. We are at commercial. We are at Collision. We are at commercial. At least on my feed.
Okay. I was looking it up. Okay. I do remember that. Okay. I had to look
Sorry.
it up and see if I had to see if they had a match in Lucha Underground. And it's not like I don't see a one-on-one match they had in Lucha Underground, although they did have matches versus each other when Swerve was kill shot. But they also had kill shot versus Pentagon Jr. versus Phoenix versus Cage versus King Cuerno versus Sexy Star versus the Mac.
Oh wow.
And it's very weird to say King Cuerno instead of saying Santos Escobar at this point.
Yeah. He's had more time now as Santos than he had as King Cuerno. I'm surprised. Like when I look back at it, I guess it was only on 4 seasons, which is on long.
I mean, it could have been on longer.
It should have been on longer. I mean, it should still be on. It was one of the best shows, one of the best wrestling shows ever.
I mean, if it was still on, where would the baddies film their reunion?
I think the issue really was probably money. It would be my guess. I mean,
it was
probably didn't have a solid investor or backer.
It was Robert Rodriguez. He did not he wasn't seeing the return on investment. And then
excuse me.
Moving channels didn't help.
Yeah. But as far as storylines go, they were one of the best ever as far as storylines. They had some of the best and funniest storylines, some of the funnest, craziest stuff.
Some of the most developed things that could have built on other things. It did build, and yeah.
What are you seeing on your TV?
I have a dog commercial.
Okay.
And I'm very happy that I do not have my sound on because my furry son would be back here already. Like, there's another dog. Why are you looking at another dog?
Because my screen was black for a minute, I wasn't sure what was going on, but it's back now. AEW is back, so. The word is backstage talking. Embassy, I took you into this world, and now I just had to take you out. I totally forgot he used to be a part of the Mogul Embassy. I almost forgot just because he's been doing so much single stuff on his own that.
Swerve was the mogul in Mogul Embassy.
I know. No, I know. I just for a second, it wasn't that I'd forgotten.
I maintain if they had kept the weird looking tattooed boy in Parker Boudreaux, they wouldn't have portrayed Swerve like this. Just saying here.
That's probably true.
And this is why we are not doing Rampage, folks. AEW can barely stay up.
Daniel Garcia. I'm not. I'm not all that tired. I'm just really stoned.
Next, I'm not asleep. I'm just thinking really long.
Daniel Garcia versus Hugh.
So Garcia, hit that dance, Garcia. Hey, he needs some pyro. Now that they got Cody on, they do have more of a pyro budget.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. I don't know what that stands for, but All right.
Making fun of Daniel Garcia. Wait till you see him do Garcia's
Anything?
dance. KM. I've seen him before a couple times.
Locally?
No, just on either AEW or Ring of Honor. I think it might have been on Dark or Elevation when those were on before. Maybe it's Ring of Honor. I just around on TV a few times. Matches essentially kind of like this, where he comes in to take a loss,
Oh
but he's a
shit.
big dude,
It's the Hardy's version of the dance.
right?
Speaking of,
That's kind of
I
what it
love
looks
the
like.
fact
That's
that
funny.
Jeff Hardy. I love the fact Jeff Hardy can make fun of the fact that he was like, "I will dance before I go save my brother." I would too, Jeff. I would too.
Oh my god! Wait till you see Daniel Garcia thrusting dude's face in the corner.
Yeah, see, that's one of those things in wrestling that I'm just like, this is
As if
why
it's
we
not homoerotic enough, right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is what it is. Like, whatever. But I'm
this
just
this
saying, like,
is this is why we are a very niche product. And this is why people are always afraid of when people are gonna come in the room. Because if you come in at the wrong time, you either gonna see some boobies, some booty, or some thrusting. Oh,
and if you like the combination of sex and wrestling, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, Effie's Big Gay Brunch is definitely the most sexual wrestling show I have ever seen. It was, especially this last one I watched. I mean, man, it was almost about to break out into porno several times during the show. I was like, oh shit.
yeah, y'all can have that. Um, I was an Effie fan. Now I'm not, but nothing to do with identities or anything. A lot to do with culture.
Okay.
Bruh, that is so weird. It is so weird. Why are you standing
Right.
over? What the? Who is that running in the ring? Did you see that?
Uh-uh. Or if I did, I didn't notice it. I guess I didn't catch it.
Maybe they're changing out the mat. But it's like two dudes ran in the ring, like as Garcia's hopping down.
Uh-huh.
So like they get caught on camera.
Yeah, I totally missed that. I might have been looking at the StreamYard screen during that moment.
Yeah, I'm watching everything because I'm like, on Collision is when shit happens. Okay, so now we have FTR. If y'all want to know what FTR really stands for, please go type in FTR compilation BTE or FTR BTE compilation and understand why they said that you should be thanking us for your career.
I love that Dynamite Kid's son is getting to use his name.
His nephew.
Oh, nephew, sorry.
Damn, what's his last name? Because I know it's Dynamite Tommy something.
Well, I mean, Billington in here, but he was Billington in MLW as well.
Dolores may be here. Dolores may be sleeping.
Yep. She will be very happy, Hassan, that you spelled her name correctly, though, this time.
Let's not restart that.
I just want to give her credit for getting it right this time, because she always gets it.
Let's
Or not
please,
get it right.
let's not restart that. Well, it's FTR bold. FTR bold.
FTR bold.
And if I put that
FTR
wood, I feel kind of dirty putting that, so I just put FTR bold. Feels a lot less likely to get struck by YouTube, you know?
Mm.
Because think about it.
Might.
Dax
He's
Harwood.
going to win here. He won't, but I wonder if he's here for just like a one-off, if this is an audition, or if he's been signed. I like Tommy Billington. I've seen him wrestle a fair amount in MLW.
Did I get his name right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be honest. I don't know if they should bring him in because I don't want him to be like, what's his name?
He's
Brian
got a brother
Pillman.
too. He's got a brother, Billington. I forget what.
I just don't want him to be like Brian Pillman Jr. Or
Yeah.
Alexa. How is Alexa King doing on NXT? How is that going for him?
Terrible. Terrible.
I'm just gonna reiterate again, unless you were in WWE previously, like a Cody, you might not want to go to WWE. Might not be all that you think it's cracked up to be.
Yeah. No, I mean it's very interesting. WWE still seems to be, again, as it's always kind of been, decent. Decent if you're, if you're at the very top, and then the rest is not very good. At least the pay is decent at the top. I guess it's whatever, but and you get TV time and storylines and that kind of stuff. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's anyone that's not in that top billing is definitely fighting for their own somewhere, trying to get something, struggling, sitting and catering, whatever.
After MXM explained how the pay works,
For those of us that didn't see that or don't know, explain it to us what he said, or tell us what he said, or what they said.
Okay. Mason Mansour, formerly Maximum Male Models, did an interview with Maven, and Maven was explaining back in the day, you would get your downside guarantee, and then if you were booked on pay-per-views, you would get a little bit more. If you would get like that extra money. If you were booked on house shows, you would get extra money. Now, unless you're a top guy, yes, you still get your downside guarantee, yeah, but they have like certain levels and thresholds where you don't get paid more from live appearances. Mute your own thing because I can hear it. Live appearances until you hit a certain amount. So let's say 2,000 extra, and they would start once you get close to that, they would start taking you off stuff so that you wouldn't hit that threshold. So you have some money, but you don't have more. And then as far as getting pay-per-view money, you don't get pay-per-view money unless like you're a top guy.
I kind of assumed that. I mean, I know that independent wrestling is very, very little money to be made in independent local wrestling for the most part. So,
Oh no,
I mean, I know.
that wasn't independent wrestling. That's
No,
WWE.
no. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I know how little there is in independent wrestling, and I know that in some regards that translates. It shouldn't, but if the lowest of the low are getting so little that I mean the top aren't getting, I mean, yes, the top might be getting a couple million, but I mean even then it's only a few, and yeah, I mean it's being a professional wrestler is a tough living. I mean, unless you're a megastar, it's a tough living. Even in WWE, even if you're lucky enough to make it to WWE or AEW, it's still very tough, and
But
especially in the indies. I mean,
when it comes to independent wrestling, they get a lot more off the door. They get and they have the opportunity when it comes to merch, and they're able to monetize themselves a lot better as far as
yep,
like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. So
yeah,
there is a reason that certain wrestlers do not want to go to WWE and lose out on their money, and why they fight for their likeness and things like that, and make sure
right, yeah,
their names
yeah,
aren't copywritten or their likeness
right,
is copywritten, things like that. And there's the fact that you have independent wrestlers who have worked their butts off and have become millionaires
oh,
because
true,
of merch sales, because they're on the grind, because they're doing different things, and they are not always the names that you think they are.
oh, I'm sure,
It is very
sure,
much knowing how to monetize yourself and being really good at marketing and having different pieces of income that come in. But yeah, that's why a lot of people don't want to go to WWE, or
oh yeah,
they feel like AEW or TNA or GC, not GCW because they don't do contracts, but TNA and like AEW are better options, and it's because they have those options to monetize themselves. But when I heard from Mason Mansoor how it worked, I was just like, what in the corporate hell? And you don't get PTO, you don't get
right,
holiday breaks, like you work in a desk job. Get out the
yeah,
bed.
yep. No, I mean, I think for the most part, wrestling is a pretty tough life. I mean, yeah, I mean, you get the notoriety if you're big enough and you get the adulation of the crowd and all those things. And I'm sure it's probably nothing like having, 15, 20, 25, 35,000 people chant your name or cheer for you. But at the same time, the payoff, you sacrifice a lot to live that life. I mean, there's definitely a payoff in it. I mean, I know that, like, because I've talked to several, local wrestlers. There's a promotion here in Portland, Dead on Arrival. Well, they just call it DOA, but and those local guys. I mean, they have a show like once a month. They make like $200 for the night, and then whatever merchandise they can sell, and that's and some of them sell some stuff, and a lot of them don't, and some of them, just depends. Obviously, the guys that have been there longer made a bigger name or over with the crowd more to sell more, but they're not. But yeah, I mean, you're there for. I mean, you only do one match, and it's probably only 10 or 15 minutes, so you figure $200 isn't terrible. But at the same time, I mean, you know, that's a tough living. I mean, $200 doesn't go very far, especially if you're not lucky enough to sell merch, or the guys on the higher up on the card maybe get 500 or whatever, or depending on how big the gate is, I guess. Depending on how that particular promotion is splitting it or does that or whatever. It potentially, I suppose, could be more, but I mean, the local shows like those shows, there's only probably maybe 150 people at most. I mean, maybe. I mean, I mean, you can't even fit more than that. I mean, it's a small little basketball gym or armory where they only have 2 rows of seatings, on all 4 sides, and that's it. So I mean, it's whatever you can fit. I mean,
I mean, when you don't have to do a bunch of travel, that adds in. When
yeah,
you can
oh yeah,
rest. And I mean, that's why a lot of wrestlers enjoy TNA because they do a bunch of tapings at one time.
yeah.
And then they can either rest and go to a day job where they can wrestle, or they can do acting. They can do a bunch of different things. Oh, dang. That was like a 2.99 right there. Okay, now I really don't know who's gonna win.
I think I'm still ahead of you, so
You are.
I won't say anything.
Most everyone is. That's the unfortunate side of having a satellite.
But Tom Billington in I think this is his AEW debut, has held up well with Dax Harwood, who's
But I
a
mean,
proven veteran.
FDR balled for all his faults, and he has several. He's really, really good.
Yeah,
I
he's a
don't think
really
you
good
could
wrestler.
ask for. I don't think you could ask for a better opponent for kind of old school style.
Right? No, I agree.
Oh,
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with them with their, a lot of the things they say outside of the ring, but in the ring, he can go. He can, I enjoy watching him wrestle. Let's put it that way.
oh. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do to the Bucks and Jack Perry in this match. This Anarchy in the Arena match, given who they're friends with.
Right.
Be very interesting. Ooh. Ooh.
It's an interesting anarchy in the arena. I mean, it'll be fun. It should be fun.
I don't think anybody's ever gonna top Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega in the damn coaches and that's illegal. I don't think anybody's gonna top that.
Yeah.
And Sammy just being like, fun times. Fun times. Damn, is this gonna end in a double count?
1, 2, oh. That's
I really would not
down.
remember that. I don't think I would enjoy that.
I'm very happy with the showing that they've given Billington. He's looked very good against Dak.
Ooh, okay. All right. All right, baby.
Well, it's over on my end. I won't tell you who won, but it is over on my end.
That chop hurt me. Okay, good small package. Good small package. Yeah, wrestling is really humble.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching because my memory's so bad. It's been so many years ago, and I forget, like when people like to talk about generational debates about who's better or whatever. So I went back and I've been watching like WrestleManias from the beginning, and like I'm at like 7 or 8 right now, and it's amazing the difference in wrestling today from wrestling back then. It's two different things. I mean, hold
All
on for
right,
just a second. Be right back.
good job, FTR Ball. On that win, that was a really, really good match. Really good match. Also, fun fact: a lot of the wrestlers back in the day are around my age, and I'm 33. I look like this, and they look like that. Don't take roids, guys. Don't take roids. FTR Bald is giving props to Dynamite Tommy or Thomas fist bumps because he's in his home country, if not his home city. So yeah.
Yep.
Also,
And then he.
fun fact. Fun fact.
Yep.
Virgil was a good 10 years older than they said he was, and he looked like that. and they look like that. Just say.
That's funny. That's funny. I he obviously it's a lot of dying and a lot of work, I guess. But Tony Schiavone's, for all intents and purposes, looks like he's aged fairly well. I know it's a lot of hair dye. I know it's probably a fair amount of work, probably too, but he doesn't look terrible. Let's put it that way.
Can I? You know what I want? And this is gonna sound really weird as a match. I want Nigel. I want a head off. Nigel McGuinness heading on Brian Danielson versus Drew McIntyre heading on CM Punk. I want to see that as a match and see who will win. But who has the most hate in their heart? Who can go the longest without saying one nice thing?
One nice thing. Jack Perry backstage with the Bucks talking. Buck stopping some guy, I guess. I'm not sure if he's just some random AEW worker. Oh no, wait, is that Christopher Daniels? Oh, it's Christopher Daniels. Sorry. Wow. All right. I totally looked at him and thought, oh, it's just some random ball guy, but it's Christopher Daniels. I didn't catch it. That's terrible.
Horrible.
Horrible, horrible. Christopher Daniels is yelling at Matt Jackson, all in his grill.
Matthew Jackson.
Matthew Jackson.
Matthew Jackson has on the Meg Thee Stallion outfit.
uh, that is funny. Oh, now we get Christopher Daniels talking. Christopher Daniels promo time.
Out of the West, SCU.
It's interesting. It's not until I see him and remember him that I think how amazing Christopher Daniels has been over his career and like how he's not one of those guys that pops in my head when I start thinking about like my all-time favorites or best list, but he belongs somewhere in on both those lists. I don't know where, and I don't know how far we're going out and where he would be, but he's extremely underrated, I think. I think he's been extremely underrated in his career.
I think because most of his career took place in ROH and TNA.
Yeah.
He got really overlooked.
Yeah.
Him and Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah.
But I do not think that modern wrestling, as we know it, exists without those two. And like Jay Lethal and a few others. Like the Briscoes, like Eddie Kingston, like a lot of your ROH guys, without them, wrestling does not exist as we know it. And it's mainly because they knew how to go out there and have really great shows, even if there were like two people in the audience.
Yeah. I agree with that. Looks like next we're getting Thunder Rosa versus either Robin or Charlotte Renegade. It just has Renegade. I don't know which one of the twins it is, but
Thunder Rosa.
And then our main event is going to be Adam Copeland versus, wow, my memory is terrible. I literally just saw the graphic. Oh, Kyle O'Reilly for the TNT Championship, which in theory should be a good match.
Two Canadians, one of which you forget is a Canadian. I don't remember Kyle O'Reilly being Canadian, to be very honest with you.
I'm always surprised at how many Canadians there are in professional wrestling. I am when I find out. I'm like, there's another one and another one and another one. Oh, there's a lot of Canadians in professional wrestling.
I think it's because they have to be so polite that they have so much anger.
Uh,
I think that's what happens.
have you ever been to Canada?
Nope, have no desire to go.
Yeah.
I am one of those Americans who firmly believes until I have visited every state in America, I don't really want to leave the country, with the exception of going to Tokyo Disney, and that's just because it's cheaper than, Disney.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to go to Canada just because I wanted to go. And here where I'm at, we're only actually about, I want to say 6 hours away. And yet in the 14, 15 years I've lived here altogether, the 2 times I've lived here, I've still never made it the 6-hour drive to Canada, which is interesting to me because I want to go. I want to check it out. My dad went and said it was amazing. And
yeah, my husband said it's amazing because I think they went to Niagara Falls. Me being
I
me,
get it. I mean,
I'm very weary of going to other countries because I piss people off easily, and I do not want to go to jail.
yeah, that's and honestly, it sounds terrible, but you know, I don't even like to say this out loud because people take it the wrong way. But like me personally, if I'm traveling internationally, just my own personal, I'm staying in first world countries. That's just the English speaking first world countries. That's just
And why are you in
I
America?
don't, huh?
Why are you in America? Because it's not a first world country.
Well, no, I understand. Well, because I was born here and I haven't had a chance to get out of here. But I mean, I guess I have, but I mean, I just haven't. It is what it is because I was born here and it just is what it is. But um, I'm just saying, like, I'm not. My wife technically has family in the Philippines, and she would love to go, but I'm not going to the Philippines. I'm sorry. I apologize. We're not going to Israel, even if they weren't actively at war. Not that they're not actively at war with Hamas, but I mean, even if they weren't currently actively in a war, I still have no desire to go. I'll go to England. I'll go to Italy. I'll go to France. But other than that, I'm cool. Greece would be fun. I don't have any desire to go. The Asian, I guess it's more the Asian continent. I don't have any desire to go to India or even Japan or China or any of those places. I'm cool. And my brother went to Cambodia. His girlfriend at the time was teaching English in Cambodia, and so he went to visit her for 2 weeks while she was over there. Thunder Rosa. I'm so happy to have her back. Her head pieces. Amazing.
Oh shit. FTR Ball versus Okada? Okay. On Wednesday. Alrighty then.
The Renegades are coming out together. We don't know which one we get. Oh no, it's only one. I'm sorry. I stopped because it's Robin. Charlotte's probably waiting under the ring so they can do their twin trickery.
Possibly. As far as traveling, I have places that I want to go, but I want to travel the train that goes like basically across the US. before I do all that. I think that would be a really fun time.
Yeah.
See a bunch of different places, live a little, have fun. Want to go down to the Caribbean. And
Yeah.
a lot of places that I did want to see um, in Palestine are gone now, so can't go there.
Right.
But yeah, but also visiting the continent of Africa would be interesting. Um, just don't know exactly where I would go.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know where in Africa I would go. I mean, I don't know.
But at the
That's a
same
tough
time,
one.
I could just go down to Gullah Geechee land and be amongst people that understand customs and things. So we'll
Right.
see. I do think there are some people who need to go to Lake Lanier and get in that new water park that they're building. I think that would be a fun time for some folks.
Yeah, there are definitely lots of places in the U.S. I'd like to visit that I haven't been to, and I'd like to go probably first. I mean, ultimately it's easier than traveling internationally. So in theory, you should do those first. I mean, at almost 50 years old, I start to wonder like how in reality it is that I get to a lot of those places. Probably slim to none, but especially since I haven't. I mean, I've been off the West Coast a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, not as much as I should be. Should have in my life.
It's a
So
little bit easier for you to travel than it is for me. So, because there are certain places that I cannot travel safely.
yeah, unfortunately, travel's fairly expensive. I know you can do it on fairly cheap if you're whatever look
Oh,
around and
it's
all that
so
stuff. But
good.
even cheap, it's still expensive, and we've always been very poor.
Stop
So
the cost. Stop the cost at all. There are still a lot of active sundown towns.
oh well, yeah. No, I'm not talking about for you. I'm just saying in general, like when it's come to traveling for
Like
me.
burning or hanging. It's not on
Oh
my
yeah,
bucket.
no, 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 no. No, I know it's definitely different for you than it is for me, for sure, no doubt. I'm just saying, for me, it's always been a money issue, really, when it boils down to it.
Take the train.
Even then, it's you still have to worry about lodging along the way and food and
Uh-uh,
all that stuff. That stuff it becomes
uh-uh.
expensive.
There's a train that you can take that'll take you from like coast to coast, and
Mhm.
it's not that expensive. I think it's like 200 or so per person, and you get your sleeping car, and then I think the only thing you have to really worry about is like food, but you can kind of prepay for food. So that's the one I
Yeah,
would pick. And if America ever builds those super trains, I really want to take that.
yeah.
Yeah. After this shit with the airplanes, I don't know if I want to fly no more. But
I hear you.
the train is Amtrak is relatively inexpensive because they do want a lot more people to travel, so they have a justification for having the train. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
No, I've ridden the train a few times. I mean, I've ridden a train a couple times in my life. I've not like across country, but I've ridden it from California to Washington. And it is what it is. It was over 24 hours on the train. I mean, obviously, I've ridden it with the sleeper cart and without a sleeper cart, it's pretty uncomfortable. But if you get a little sleeper room, it's okay. I mean, it's I don't sleep well to begin with, and the sound of the tracks and the movement made it tough. So I mean, it is what it is, and it can
Ooh,
get a little claustrophobia on the train in general, just like kind of stuck on the train. But it's fun though to see the landscape go by and see different places and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
get up, walk around. I wouldn't leave the car because I'm one of the Final Destination people. I firmly believe if I try to jump over the thing, I'm gonna get got. So, but at the same time, if I see a log truck coming, you can rest assured. We either gonna be way in front of the log truck, or we gonna be way behind the log truck. But you ain't not worried about us in the log truck.
What I haven't done that I want to do, and I'm trying to talk my wife into it because she doesn't really do them like that, is I want to go on a cruise, but she doesn't really do the water like that. She doesn't want to be on a big old boat in the middle of the ocean like that, which I kind of understand, but I think a cruise would be fun. I want to go on a cruise.
Can you do the cruise because you cannot take substances with you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've gone without a few times. I mean, for multiple days. I mean, it is what it is. It's not ideal, but I can make do.
Oh, that was smart, Thunder Rosa. That was smart. That was not smart, but that was smart. Before I forget, Jim Cornette. I see what you try to do, bro. It's not the smartest thing. Because getting mad at Aubrey for her facial expressions and for being a fan in the ring, but praising Samantha, who has also drawn attention to herself. I see what you did there, bro. After that whole Swerve thing, I see what you did there. See you. I wanted to say it, but I've been forgetting. But I see you for that. I see you. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're about to do that. They're trying to do that twin switch thing.
Right.
Or it is so, y'all, it is so weird because we were talking about Lucha Underground earlier.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see Cobra Moon doing all of this. Because she was not good in Lucha Underground. And thank you, Lucha Underground, for taking the taking the risk on her. I do really appreciate that.
Oh. Renegade Mr. Moonsault.
Who? The Renegade Twins have really gotten better. And I'm so happy for them because they were good, but they just weren't cohesive.
They've definitely gotten better. I wish they would get a little bit more push. I mean, the women in general need a bigger push in AEW, but I wish the Renegades would get a bigger push.
Well, they've been doing really well with them and really well by them, but I really think they need a women's tag, either in RH or AEW.
Yeah.
For like people who like Queen Aminata and Red Velvet and the Renegade Twins, and you open up a lot more opportunity for storyline and for different competitors to come in.
Yeah.
If you're doing something like that. But I understand why they're not, but I wish they would.
Thunder Rosa's talking shit to somebody. She had the mic at her. She was in front of the camera talking shit to somebody. Yeah, probably Toni Storm would be my guess, but I don't know.
She's beefing with Deonna Purrazzo.
Oh, that's true. That's right. I forgot. She is beefing with Deonna Purrazzo. Oh, Johnny and Taya. Taya's hair color is terrible. That yellowish, goldish, whatever the fuck that is terrible.
I liked their little show. It was cute.
I never actually saw it.
It's on YouTube. They have the whole season up now. It's really, you can tell it's scripted, but it's their personalities work so well for it that it makes sense. I could see them being like Miz and Mrs. type situation. I think that would be really good for them when they stop wrestling. Okay, where
I do
is
like
Renee?
them both.
Where is Renee? This is
That's
weird.
a good question.
I don't even like
Good
her,
question.
but she wasn't on Dynamite. Was
Uh-huh.
she on Rampage last week?
That's a good question. I didn't watch Rampage.
I don't think. No, on Collision last week. I don't think. She was. Did they have? Oh, that's awkward. It's like my parents kissing.
I do like them both. I find them both fun. I mean, I like Johnny and Taya.
I don't like them together. Like, not like.
I don't need to see them having sex or being kissing or any of that kind of stuff, but I don't mind them like being a couple together like that. I mean, I don't
Not
know.
like. For me, it's like I don't think the Molina comparisons will ever go away with them together because Taya and Molina have a very similar wrestling style. So that's the part that I hate.
Yeah, I can see it.
You came back a little bit too early.
Sorry.
You look like a fucking cloud breaking through. The match is not up yet, guys, but I put it up there early because if I don't, I'm
that
gonna
is
get drawn into the match and I'm gonna
it
forget
is.
to put it up there.
What? Okay, so before this match starts, put a percentage on Kyle O'Reilly's chance of winning and
I
taking
don't
the belt.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know because it could make sense for him to win because House of Black, they want to kind of like torment Adam Copeland and get that belt, and Kyle O'Reilly could be an interesting foil to that. Or is Kyle O'Reilly gonna turn heel? Is Adam Copeland gonna turn heel? What happens if Kyle O'Reilly wins? What happens? Who's next for Adam Copeland? There's so many possibilities there. Also, the question of what happens next if such and such wins the belt. Going back to WWE, it's why Damian Priest is in the situation he's in. It's kind of like why Cody's in the situation he's in. They book, and it's good that they are champions, but how well thought out are these plans? And it does not seem like they were very well thought out.
They're not looking far enough in advance.
And then you have people like Bobby Lashley kind of getting overlooked. And for the love of God, please do something with the Street Profits besides have them in championship matches on pay-per-view just to lose. Angelo Dawkins is actually a good wrestler. Let him do singles. Let Montez do singles. Don't always put them in tag team matches all together. That's just me. I guess. I want more. I want more for the wrestling world. So many talented people.
You're a commercial right now?
Is this Hook?
Who is that? It is Hook. Holy shit. That's a full Hook promo. I have to go back and watch that because I've never seen Hook talk that much.
Hook is looking like a white Taz, and yes, I know a Taz is white. You don't have to tell me the words. But like, this is weird. So he's got a promo on Chris Jericho.
Taz is colored. His skin tone is dark enough that sometimes it's a little ambiguous.
Taz is white. Taz is Italian. Taz is white.
No, I'm aware of that, but
Taz for years had us thinking, "Oh my God, Taz is black." Till Taz said, "I'm not one of you people." Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good promo hook. You must.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because I couldn't hear it. So.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Next week on Collision, we're getting Ospreay versus Shane Taylor. Should be a
Bro,
good match.
bro. Moxley and Danielson versus Fletcher and Jeff Cobb on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh god, this is gonna be so hard hitting. Oh, there's so many Lucha Underground people on this show.
Adam Copeland coming to the ring.
This is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so good. Oh god,
Hassan
AEW is
picks
back.
Adam Copeland to retain his title.
Oh god, what's your percentage for Copeland versus O'Reilly?
I think Kyle O'Reilly's got about I would say like about a 30% chance. I think I have a feeling that Copeland's going to hold the belt a little longer, so I think it's a little early in his reign to lose it. But Kyle O'Reilly's such a solid competitor, and he's got, several. There's meat on the bone for him in theory as champion. There's a couple ways they got the Undisputed Kingdom stuff they can do with Roderick Strong. They've got, and then there's other stuff that they've got. So I don't know. I mean, I like Kyle O'Reilly better than Adam Copeland. I'd rather see Kyle O'Reilly in that position. I think being slightly younger, well, not slightly younger, but younger, and still kind of, even though a lot of people know who Kyle O'Reilly is, still kind of, for all intents and purposes, making his way in his name. He could use the belt more, and I don't think Adam Copeland needs it. So, but I think he's probably got about a 30% chance. I assume Adam will retain, but
Yeah, I like Kyle O'Reilly. I like what he represents. I think now that he's back, he gets to rebuild again.
right.
But I don't want House of Black to become Judgment Day Light, and I worry that is what is going to happen with the spooky promos and the Adam Copeland.
Yeah,
that's a concern.
I can see that. It's apparently it's harder than it would seem. And don't get me wrong, I have no idea how to do it, but it appears that booking dark occultish factions especially is difficult. Nobody has, I mean, there's been a couple times that it's been done okay, but I don't think there's ever been one where it's done like, wow, this is amazing and just like unbelievable, like as far as good, I mean, as far as being so good that it's like, wow. I don't know, it feels like the darker they try to get, the cornier it always becomes, and that I'm not sure. It seems
for a while, the Ministry of Darkness worked really, really well. And then Vince.
Yeah.
Or Decay in TNA was booked really well. But then, LOL TNA.
Yeah. It just seems like it's a little bit, it's hard to do. It seems like it's hard to write for those guys and book those factions well and keep them believable and dark and all that stuff. I mean, it's. I wonder if Bobby Fish is going to come back at some point.
I don't understand why people hate on Bobby Fish, because Bobby Fish did not tell a lie about CM Punk.
Right? I like Bobby Fish. And I'm a big fan of Red Dragon. Him and Kyle O'Reilly together are great.
Folks, just so you know, even if this match doesn't end at 10 p.m. Eastern, we are still leaving at 10 p.m. Eastern.
If you want to go, the match ends. I'm not gonna. But I'm not gonna. We're not gonna stay for Rampage. But I'll stay at least until this match ends. Trent Beretta and Dalton Castle tonight on Rampage. That should be fun.
Please don't hurt my Dalton.
That should be fun. Brian Keith has a promo on Rampage.
I need Brian Keith to wrestle.
In action, I guess. Brian Keith in action.
Yeah, come on, Brian Keith. I need you to wrestle.
Yana versus Lady Frost.
So these folks can understand how good you are.
Right. And Pac versus Johnny TV. That should be fun too, actually. Rampage sounds like a decent show.
So, speaking of Wrestle Talk, they were doing their review and they were trying to figure out why Pat looks so different. It's because he's dry. He's dry Pat. He wasn't wet. He wasn't all oiled up. And I had to laugh.
All oiled up and wet. Yeah, that's funny as hell.
I had to laugh because that's like the first thing I noticed. I was like, this is weird.
He's a dry Pac. Honestly, I didn't even notice it until you just said something. I didn't even think about it, but you're right. That's funny. Because he usually is all wet and oily and Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Copeland having a good technical wrestling match. Copeland's a decent technical wrestler when he wants to or when he does it.
Yeah, you forget sometimes that Copeland has so many different styles and he's learning so much from the guys in AEW. I like that for him because it's showing in your career you're never too late.
Yep. And, if you want to continue to be, you've always got to continue to push yourself and work harder, learn new, stay up with what's going on. I mean, you can't just be like, oh, well, I'm a veteran. And because I'm doing what these guys are doing too. You know what I mean? I'm here doing it. I respect it. I'm, working at doing the same thing these guys are doing. And yeah.
Like the match with Pizza.
Yeah, go ahead.
Watching him do like lucha moves is not something I thought I would ever see Adam Copeland do.
Right. Yeah. No, I kind of knew it before, but especially with his AEW run, he's made it really clear, I think, how much he truly just loves professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Because to be here, I mean, he doesn't have to do this. He's already he's been, for all intents and purposes, at the very top. I mean, what more does Edge at this point have to prove in professional wrestling? Whether you call him Edge or Adam Copeland, I mean, if you still consider, and you don't, I know you don't, but like, a lot of the wrestling world community does still consider WWE the big dog, and he's been, the top of the pile in WWE several different times, and for a decent portion of his career, he was a main event superstar there. So I mean, he has nothing else to prove, and yet here he is, still doing it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, no, I mean, I think it shows how much he truly loves it. I mean,
can I keep it at 100 with you? I think that he actually has a lot to prove, but not for the reasons that people think. I think he has a lot to prove because you have someone like Christian Cage who has gone to every company and made himself a star based off of his talent and his character, versus Adam Copeland being in one company for so long. And yeah, he was a main event draw there, but could he also do it other places? I think that is why this run right now feels so refreshing and so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely refreshing and good. I mean, I hope that I mean, I do believe that anybody that is at the top of their profession, especially when it comes to something that's an athletic endeavor, I do believe those guys have huge egos and huge chips on their shoulders. They have, that very highly driven type A personality. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a guy like Adam Copeland kind of gauge his success in comparison to everybody else. But I hope that he's not looking at Christian Cage's career and saying, I'm not. My career hasn't been enough because of Christian. I mean, you got to be confident in your own what you've done in and of yourself. You shouldn't be looking for validation from Christian Cage's career. You guys are two different people, two different things. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, I understand these guys. They're close friends. They've been all those things. So there's probably some of that. And like I said, these guys are huge. All these guys have huge egos. So I mean, they all want to be better than the other person. So it makes sense in that regard. But I
I
mean,
mean, if my best friend is in the same industry as me and could be like, yo, I went to XYZ company and I
oh yeah.
revitalized them by doing XYZ while you were in WWE and you had to do this.
Yeah. No, I mean, in theory, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I can see friendly competition and all that stuff there. I just hope for his own sanity and well being, he's not like, if I don't have a better career than Christian, I'm going to fucking, my career is shit or whatever. Because first of all, it's all a debate anyhow. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that believe Edge or Adam Copeland's had a better career than Christian and is a better wrestler. I don't believe that, but I'm sure there are plenty of people that do. And so, I mean, that's debatable in and of itself. But, hopefully the two of them aren't, looking for that external validation like that.
Yeah.
I do wonder about, I'm sure that as great as it is to feel the adulation of the crowd, I do wonder about the people that feel like they have to have it and kind of what they're missing, maybe either in life or something that they require that external people cheering for them to feel okay about themselves. Like I don't think all of them are like that, but I do think there are probably some that are like that. And I wonder about those.
Yeah, that's something that they are watching, Hassan. It's not something I watch. Also, it's about to be real, real funny when Bill has to go to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Adam is coming off the top rope. Kyle caught him in the armbar.
So I guess this is Adam Copeland's like more technical match because he
Yeah.
said that in every match he wants to do like at least one new move that he hasn't done before. And I really don't remember him being like super technical.
Yeah, I don't remember him either. Now this is the most technical I think I've seen him, at least recently. I mean, I'm trying to think, and probably in WWE because they don't like technical wrestling in WWE. So
Which makes me pissed off because you have Natalia and you have fucking Shayna Baszler right there.
right, he looks like Edge. Hassan says.
Like the Edge of old. Or you two and Bono.
That's funny. Oh, Kyle O'Reilly with the brainbuster on Adam Copeland and the huge clothesline. Both men down in the center of the ring. Kyle can't capitalize. Who will be the first to get up? It's going to be 7 o'clock here, and my wife still wants to go out to dinner. I'm like, really? So late already?
Hey, you better take that woman to dinner.
No, believe me, I'm going. She wants to do something, we're doing it.
She gave Sherman.
Uh, O'Reilly with a huge forearm in the corner on Adam. I just want to call him Edge. Adam Copeland just doesn't sound right in my mouth when it comes out for some reason. Leg bar. Kyle's got Adam in the leg bar in the middle of the ring. Oh, Adam's reaching for the ropes.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Did he get there? Barely. Barely got there. Kyle has to let go of the leg. So Samoa Joe obviously lost the belt to Swerve Strickland.
Ooh.
We know Samoa Joe isn't young. What do you think's left for Samoa Joe? You think he sticks around as an active wrestler for a while longer? You think he's going to take? I mean, I know he's already had a couple appearances since then, and it appears that he's going to keep. But I'm just curious, like, how much longer you think? What do you think he's got in the tank, and how much longer? What's next for him?
I think
AEW
he's got
wise,
as long as he wants to because Samoa Joe has taken really good care of himself, even though he does not look like he has. I also think
right?
is going to be very key for him, and having like those little breaks will help him like keep his body going for longer.
Mhm.
I don't know if I could put a time frame on how much longer he has. I think he has until he doesn't want to have it anymore. And I think
Do
he
you
will
think he
be
has another run with the belt, or you think that was his last AEW World Championship,
I don't
his
know.
one and only?
I don't know because I feel like he is very similar to like a John Moxley,
Hmm.
where if you need him to have the belt, he can have the belt and make a whole blood feud in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So
He's one of those guys you can always count on in a pinch. You just put the belt on him, and it'll always be good.
for me, I personally enjoy seeing Samoa Joe. I've always enjoyed seeing Samoa Joe. From the first time I saw him on TNA, I think that he is really dope.
Yeah, I'm a big Joe fan. I hope he has, a lot of wrestling left in him. I understand if he doesn't. I mean, he's not a spring chicken and all those things. So I get it. At the same time, healthy or not, at some point, I mean, I understand wanting to, not take all those bumps or whatever. I mean, even if you're still in good condition, what feels a certain way at 25 doesn't feel the same way at 45. I can attest to that. And I'm not taking these bumps. I just mean everyday life. So let alone taking bumps. So no matter how good a shape
I
you're
used to
in.
do it 23. I can't do it 33 no more.
Exactly. So, let alone no matter how good a shape you're in. So, but I mean, I hope that they continue to push him and let him be in the main event picture as long as he wants to be. I mean,
Up.
uh,
Jeez.
and I was a huge Edge and Christian fan, the tag team. I was never the biggest Edge fan solo. I always liked Christian much more as a singles wrestler than Edge. I do I have found that since he's come to AEW as Adam Copeland, I like him better now than I did as Edge in WWE. I don't know if it's just because I respect him more now because I feel like he's come here at an older age after being gone for so long, and it's to show just like you said to still have something to prove, I guess, or at least wants to show that he's still that he deserves what he's been called in his career as being one of a great superstar and all those kind of things. So I have respect for what he's doing now. So I've kind of changed my opinion on him a little bit.
I think when it comes to Adam Copeland in AEW, I think him being in AEW was the right choice for him.
Yep.
I think that was a very, very smart choice.
It'll probably only be a couple minutes, but if you really want to go, you can. I'll hold down the ship for the last couple minutes of this match, and then get out of here.
Alrighty. I will see you lovely humans on Tuesday.
All righty. Sounds good. Thanks for joining, as always. Peace. Jordan. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I haven't seen honestly, I haven't seen any of the new ones. So I'm behind. I need to check them out. I saw the old ones with Charlton Heston from the 70s. I believe it's the 70s, late 70s, mid to late 70s, maybe even the early 80s. But I haven't seen any of the new ones, since they come out in 2010 or in the 2000s. Um, so I can't really comment, but I hope you enjoy it. It is nice to be through the pandemic and back to going to movies and movie theaters. I haven't done a lot of it yet, but I've gone a couple times and it's nice to get back to that. I like going to the movies, so I'm here with you just until we finish up Adam Copeland and Kyle O'Reilly, who are going right now in the main event of Collision for the TNT Championship. I'm not going to stay through Rampage. Unfortunately, I got some other stuff I got to do. And CM got out of here because it's late on her end. So she was going to go to bed. So, and 1, 2, 3. There you get it. Adam Copeland defeated Kyle O'Reilly in a really good match. One of the more technical matches I've ever seen Adam Copeland wrestle in his career. Um, I do, like I was saying earlier to CM, I do like what he's doing in AEW. And I like his attitude and the ways, he's getting joy out of wrestling with younger guys and other guys that he hadn't wrestled with before in WWE, and getting to do a lot of the stuff that maybe he wasn't able to do in WWE. So, but he gets to win over Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly seems to be holding his shoulder. I don't think he's actually hurt. I'm assuming that is kayfabe, but hopefully he's not actually hurt. And everything is okay. I'm trying to find the banner for Collision to take that off the screen. Okay, so that brings us to the end of Collision. I'm not going to hang out, unfortunately, for Rampage. I do have some other stuff I got to do tonight. But thank you guys for joining us for Collision and joining us here on Workhorse Wrestling Network for Saturday Night is all right. Normally, I would stay for Rampage. But again, thanks for joining us, and hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, hit the bell to be notified so you can know every time we drop something. And until next time, make sure and join us on Tuesday night for the cookout. And until next time, peace.